Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures towing review of the 2024 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. This thing has the hybrid in it, so 437-ish horsepower, 583 foot-pounds of torque. The other ones say, I can't remember what they call it, 5-force max or something. Anyway, the TRD Pro doesn't have that. Actually, we can take a look under the hood. Sorry it's windy. Hopefully you're not getting drowned out here and able to hear what I'm talking about. But this trailer is terrible for fuel mileage, tons of wind resistance, and when it's windy like this, you can feel the trailer pushing it around. I'm really surprised at how stable this TRD Pro has been. TRD Pros have softer suspension, and actually, if I were here, tongue weight is it's showing just over 500 pounds right now, but the actual tongue weight's about 500 pounds as well. It has a trailer brake controller, and I'll put a clip in of their some annoying feature which I knew they had. I mean, I ran it on the previous time I had a Tundra, this generation of Tundra. I had that same issue. I reached out to Toyota. They said it shouldn't be an issue, and they should have fixed it, but it came up again in this one. You can see right there, TBC off, trailer brake controller off. And when I come down here and grab these, I get no output. And if I push the plus or minus here, look what happens. It says it's off. Really, let me see, actually. So if I'm just gonna add a new trailer, my trailer, I guess switch this around. Electric brake. It's right at that 5,000 pounds right now. It's just under 5,000, but I'll do that. So now we'll use this trailer. Now watch. I can set the gain now. Really bad design. You should be able to hook up a trailer and have your trailer brake immediately. Having to go through and select settings, that's a waste of time, and quite frankly, some people are going to miss that, and you're not going to have trailer brakes at all. Again, really poor design. I talked to Toyota about this before. They said that shouldn't happen, but it did just happen to me again. The camera is offset, so the center of the truck's here, camera's there. Again, the previous one I had, I didn't like how the lines worked on the camera system, and I'll pop that clip up as well, showing this one they've actually done right. So everything lines up really nice. You can see the side of the hitch when you're the camera angle comes down, and you can actually see the other side of the hitch a tiny bit, but the line is lined up where it should be. So when I backed up to hook up the trailer on this one, everything worked perfectly. It lined up right how it should. So Toyota's done the proper programming for the offset camera there. So the first Tundra I had of this generation, the line was kind of skewed. Anyway, it was lining up perfectly with the ball. It does look like it's a little bit off here. Maybe I'm just not perfectly straight, but anyway, when I hooked up today, it lined up perfectly. You can see that dash goes right onto the hitch ball, but you can also see, it's gonna be a little bit hard, but you can see the right side of the hitch here. So the camera is offset just a little bit where you can see that, but they've set up the lines and everything to actually be where they should be, which is really nice. So you can have an offset camera, you can make it work and work well, and Toyota has done that here in the Tundra. There's your iForce Max twin turbo 3.4 liter V6, and obviously some hybrid stuff going on there, and underneath the sphere seats there's actually something kind of interesting. So I believe the battery, there's relay fuse stuff under there. I believe the main battery for the hybrid system's under here, and On the driver's side rather, the 12-volt battery is underneath on that side. Monster Fox shocks on this thing, remote reservoirs and everything. I don't know how well that's going to show up, and everything's covered in mud from the off-road test, so be sure you check out the off-road test. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the towing test. We're about to merge onto the freeway, tow haul mode, and I've gone like a mile. We're getting 8.5, 9 miles per gallon, but it's just been all around town. So anyway, I will actually stop right here, and it looks like I'm good. There's no one behind me, so we can do from a dig. We're gonna see what it takes to get up onto the freeway on here. All right, here we go. Oh, spun the tires just a little bit. This thing has a ton of torque, so we're 4,000-ish RPM, about 4,800 there. 60 miles an hour, just fine. That's plenty for freeway merging speeds. 70 now. So really, honestly, it was pretty effortless. Like, yeah, I was going a little over 4,000 RPM, but the truck had a lot more to give than that. You can see the hybrid system right there kicking in a little bit, adding a little bit of boost, or power rather. Can't say boost when I'm running engine with turbos, but it does have your boost gauge here, electric input, oil, temperature, and then tranny temp. Down below you have your coolant temp and oil pressure on the left. Anyway, all good information. So they actually call this one the towing page, and it's perfect. That's what you need when you're towing. Would be nice if you had actual temperatures for, like, especially the transmission and the coolant there too. I prefer to know what the temperature is. These 10 speeds in the Ford, they run really hot. In the Chevy, they run where they should be, and I don't know where they run in the Toyotas because they're just kind of right there where it is now. But I guess as long as you're not in the red, you're okay. No problem. This trailer right now, I have the batteries on it too. Some of these other tests I haven't had the batteries, but I have the batteries there. So tongue weight's about 500 pounds, just over 500, right around there, with the two 6-volt deep cycle batteries on there. And then total trailer weight comes in about 4,900 with the batteries, 47 right now. So it's pretty much empty inside. We have a few things in there, but it's pretty much empty. So about 47. And this thing, it's ridiculously easy. Like, I feel we're 2,000 RPM, just cruising right along. I don't know what gear we're in. Must have been 8. Yeah, so 8 out of 10. Anyway, cruising along in 8th gear, just over 2,000 RPM, and just cruising. Like I said, there's no effort here. I'm not pushing this thing at all to do this. I would have no problem climbing a pretty steep grade with this trailer weight. It's not real heavy. I'm sure you could pull the Ike tunnel at 11,000 feet or whatever it is with this thing without issue. So I don't know if you can hear that on camera. You can hear the turbo spool up on that Duramax. I like the sound of a turbo, I guess, but anyway, really stable. I passed a box truck. You can feel it pushing just a tiny bit, but not too bad. And this trailer is right in the range where Toyota recommends or requires, I don't remember if it's recommend or require, a weight distribution hitch. But Toyota is one of the few that will opt or recommend running 100% weight distribution, which really means 100% of the weight you take off the front axle by using, when you hook up a trailer to the rear, you're putting all that weight way back behind the rear axle, and it has a fulcrum and lever effect where it lifts the front axle a little bit. So by using a weight distribution hitch, you're putting that weight back on the front axle that was lost. Simple way to do that is by measuring, and with the, I swear that had 2 right turn lanes, but maybe not. Anyway, with the Tundra, they recommend doing 100% of that weight goes back onto there. So Most of them are 50 to 75. With Toyota, they are 100%. Weight distribution, the hitches that I recommend, which would be the equalizer hitch, adds a lot of sway control as well. That's why when I do these tests, I don't use a weight distribution hitch. I would recommend it for any trailer that's the size of this one that we have. Just crosswinds and stuff like that. With a trailer this big, it's a billboard, it gets pushed around. And like I said, this truck was very stable with it, even though, you know, I passed a box truck. It's a little bit windy out today. You can see the sign for Wendy's waving over there. Anyway, it's a bit windy today, but the truck didn't hardly even notice it. It was very stable. So. And there's enough traffic here, it's not going to matter. But this is an uphill start, and yeah, 2,500 RPM. You can see 12 PSI, 13 PSI boost. It's just pulling, no problem. Keeping up with traffic. I slowed down to let this guy in, but it really doesn't have any issues pulling up this hill. And I can hear the turbos actually. Driving around normally, I don't hear the turbos much, but here I am pulling the trailer and I'm able to hear the turbos. Where is this? So it does have this trailer page here. It tells you, so it has the blind spot monitor and it picks up the trailer length. The trailer's not that long. I believe it's 22 feet. It's an 18-foot box, so it might be a little over 22. Anyway, 22, 23 feet long. This says it's 27. That's just for the blind spot stuff, which is totally fine. Tire pressures, which is all good information to know. So I do like the information that Toyota's giving you with their trailer pages and their towing gauges. If I were driving this regularly, the towing pages would be up. If I'm, you know, going off-road or whatever, I'd switch that out for the pitch and roll. But yeah, really, I'd probably leave that on these towing pages most of the time. And even though this is the TRD Pro, it's very stable. The tow rating's 11,000 pounds on the TRD Pro, like the off-road, high-speed off-road version. So really pretty good tow rating, and I think a lot of that comes down to the high recommendation for the weight distribution hitch. The truck settled in quite a bit using this trailer with 500 pounds. If you're towing 11,000 pounds with 1,100 pound tongue weight, you're really, using up most of your payload with that tongue weight, so you need the weight distribution to help, as it does actually move some of the weight back onto the trailer the way it works. Anyway, so your tongue weight, your actual felt tongue weight is a little lower, but also it would just sag so much without a weight distribution hitch if you're running 1,100 pound tongue weight. So again, not really even trying, easily outpacing traffic, as you can see in the mirror there. Yeah, this thing, so much torque off the line, easily outpacing traffic with the trailer on. And, you know, I'm giving it a little bit more. Obviously, if I were normally driving around, I wouldn't do that, but I'm just doing that to show you. Also, don't drive in the left lane with a trailer. Normally, I'm turning left here. That's just why I'm doing it. But if you're not turning, then it's better to not be in the left lane. And again, I'm going to go in the left lane here because that, after this turn, shortly after it, the right lane ends. So I'll be over in this other lane already, so I don't have to deal with merging into traffic. Still in tow haul mode. I just threw camera up on the roof so we can see that outside shot as we climb up this hill. This truck, it just makes me smile. I love this thing. $74,000, so there is that. But 583 foot-pounds of torque, 437 horsepower, I want to say, somewhere in that range. It just moves. Like, you can see the battery's almost full, even though I've been towing. And every once in a while, like if I get on it, you'll see the electric add a bunch of torque into the system. Looks like we'll be staying in the left lane for this whole climb, or at least this portion. Anyway, we are, you know, I wish I could pull up the off-road pages while I'm driving, or the roll and pitch. It only does it on this screen when you're in 4-low or 4-wheel drive. Maybe not necessarily 4-low, but when you're in 4-wheel drive. And over here you have to be stopped, so you can go in and change those settings. Anyway, this grade, I want to say the majority of it is about 8%. So you're going to have steeper sections and less steep sections, but overall we're running about an 8% grade here. This section in particular is a little steeper, and then it levels off just right around the corner. Anyway, the average grade for it all is about 8%. And again, we're barely 2,500 RPM, just cruising along. We're probably in 4th gear maybe, so we were in 5th gear. So when you flip over to manual shift, it downshifts 1 gear for you, which is interesting, but it's probably like, usually when you're wanting to do that, that's what you want out of it. For all these tests, I don't do the manual shifting. I just let the truck do its thing in drive, as that's the way most people are going to be driving it, and kind of gives you a better feel for everything I do, or I will. If it's not going to be doing grade braking on its own where it downshifts for you, I will add that in by myself, but for the most part, I'm going to try and let the truck do all that. I do want to get a feel for that, like how much engine braking there is when you're using a load, towing a load going downhill. What's it gonna do to help slow you down? Pretty clear day as far as smog goes, but yeah, the rain's coming in. It should be here in the next hour or so. Just cruising along, like effortless. I love this thing. Such a nice truck to drive because I think I've mentioned this already, it doesn't feel fast. You're not going to be like, it's not a race truck. It moves, it gets out of the way pretty well, but when you're under load or even just driving around, your torque just feels like always there, always plenty of torque on hand, it's just ready to go. It just feels like it's not going to be affected by anything. You go up a little hill, you are towing your trailer, whatever, it's just going to just do it. You're not going to lose 10 miles an hour because you went over an overpass when you're on the freeway, as some other trucks, especially older ones, but mid-sized trucks used to struggle with that a lot before they switched over to the turbos. Anyway, that doesn't happen in this thing at all. I mean, again, downshifted to get there to 2,300 RPM, like just cruising, no problem. So sweet. All right, we're on the downhill now, and I mean it's already grade braking. I did touch the brake just a little bit to keep the speed, but it downshifted and now it's holding 42, 43 miles an hour on its own. I don't do this using cruise control. I almost never use cruise control when I tow. Long distances sometimes I will, but normally I don't ever use cruise control for towing. So there are additional features on a lot of these trucks. When you do use cruise control, it will do more grade braking to keep you at your set speed. I don't know if the Tundra does that or not, and I guess we could try it. So let me set cruise control here. There we go. So cruise control is set. We're going to drop it down to 43 miles an hour. Right there is what that little 43, and then our cruise, or our actual speed's 43. So I'm curious. We actually have a headwind right now, so oh, there we go, 45. It's actually applying the trailer brakes. So when you use cruise control on this one, it applies the brakes, not just engine braking. It is currently engine braking a little bit, but it's applying the service brakes as well to slow you down and keep you within the set speed. Not saying that's a good thing, not saying that's a bad thing. If you're on a really long hill and it's only using your service brakes, then yeah, that's a bad thing. It's going to heat up your brakes quite a bit, but it does keep you at that set speed. So, all right, I'm going to turn the cruise control back off, and we're just going to see what it does for grade. Well, let's give it one more shot right here. We're about to pick up some speed, and let's see what it does. So it is downshifting and using the brakes. So it's kind of a combination of the two. It's not using a ton of brakes, and it just let off the brakes entirely. Yeah, I'm not sure, you know, I'd have to spend hundreds of miles or more, thousands of miles towing with this to really get a good feel for it. Cruise control's off now, and again, downhill headwind. This trailer's a giant billboard, so we're not even really picking up speed here. Make sure I give this guy enough room. I'll get back over. Alright, so I'm about to start slowing down to pull over for the intro and outros, but anyway, there we go. So it's picking up speed. I'll hit the brake a little. Let's see if it downshifts more. It's not downshifting. There it goes. It is downshifting more on its own. I'm barely on the brake. Let me get on the brake a little more. We're going to be stopping. And so it is, grade braking is actually okay on this. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but this trailer, again, is a bad test for it. When we have a headwind and we have a giant billboard of a trailer, it's not a great test because it's slowing down quite a bit on its own without, you know, it's slowing down because of that wind resistance on the truck. So it does have different views. So you can look at the hitch, you got kind of front tires there, but this one you have the rear tires, but they're angled really far back, so you can see the trailer really well with these. And in the mirrors are like just barely too narrow, and you can see that's the camera, like you can't see down the side of the trailer, but not a big deal. It would be nice if the mirrors, if there was a tow mirror, which I think there is actually, it's just not equipped on this one. That's a little bit wider, so you can see down the sides a little better. I'm actually gonna pull, we're gonna do a different shot than I normally do, but anyway, I do like, you know, for off-roading and stuff, you have a really nice view of the front tires, you can see what's going on, but also when you're back in the trailer, having those cameras that point so far down the sides can definitely help see what's next to your trailer on both sides real easy with one shot without having to check both sides at once. So right here I can see both, but this is like looking in this mirror and this mirror at the same time. You can also change the zoom a little bit, so it kind of crops the bottom, gives you a better zoom up top, which again, that's helpful. And you can also do this, so if you want to see what's way over here or way over there, you can do that as well. So I do like that camera system. I have seen it, similar systems in other vehicles in the past, but it's definitely a good way to do things. So I manually downshifted. We're almost 4,000 RPM, barely holding, yeah, still gaining speed. We're probably at 9%. Now we're dropping down to like a 6% grade. The peak there was probably about 9%. So I'm gonna go back into drive. My foot's on the brake and just downshifted, or upshifted rather, automatically. So yeah, the grade braking performance on this, they're not using the turbos to add back pressure into the engine to slow it down. And I actually knew that. I should have mentioned that before. The turbos on this thing are not variable geometry where they can open and close the vanes differently and provide back pressure as you see on many of the new modern turbos. These turbos are straightforward turbos. They don't have a lot of this special stuff that you see, which makes them more simple, more reliable, and as you can tell, I mean, the amount of boost these things are giving off, they're boost happy. They give you a lot of power. So I think Toyota's done really well with creating a really reliable system and having the electric motor aid where the turbos are maybe lacking down low in the RPM range, like really low, because this thing gets a lot of boost from 2,000, 2,200 RPM on. It's really pulling hard. but below that 2200 RPM, having the electric motor makes a big difference and makes up for the turbo lag, and essentially it's non-existent in this truck. So Toyota's done a really good job that way of tuning it. It's just, well, and actually my battery is full too, so there might have been a little bit more regenerative braking to fill the top off the battery. The battery in this, I believe, 17 kilowatt hours. It's pretty darn small when you compare it to a plug-in hybrid or something like that. Like, it's a pretty small battery, but it does what it needs to do. It's designed around providing the power, the torque that you need or want for towing, for off-roading, whatever it may be, without a huge focus on fuel economy. So the fuel economy on this is definitely a lot better than the previous generation Tundra, of course. Like, it's just a lot better fuel economy. But that wasn't Toyota's main focus with this hybrid system. As I mean, Toyota kind of championed the whole hybrid thing with the Prius. I know there were other hybrids before and after that, but the Prius was really what pushed, and they have a lot of experience with hybrids. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that the Toyota hybrid system is probably one of the best, if not the best, in the industry, and just due to their experience and, you know, the time they've had in the market with these hybrid systems, it really makes a difference, and you feel it in this truck. So I don't know how long this light's going to be, but when we take off, watch this max gauge. So that's the hybrid electric motor adding power to the engine, and the speed limit's 25, so I'm not going to be getting up to crazy high speeds. But you'll watch this thing kind of jump right when I start. In tow haul mode, it does not shut off the gas engine very often, if ever. I don't know when it would. So in tow haul mode, you're not going to have to wait for the gas engine to start up. It'll already be running. Anyway, you'll watch this jump up till I'm 5 miles an hour, and then it will basically drop down to 0 because we're in the RPM range here, and it's not even, didn't even jump up that much. So, and speed limit's only 25, so I'm already there. But again, hybrid system there picks up on the low end, makes it so you don't have turbo lag. Once the engine's up there in the RPM range, you're ready to go, and this thing will pull pretty darn hard, all the way 2,000 RPM to redline, which I haven't done redline pulling the trailer, but it really moves. So in the settings, if I go left and right, so go back over here in the settings and go up, and it has the trailer light check. So you push the OK button, and it says, all right, trailer light check will cycle, turn on the signals and brake lamps 10 times, so you can really see it. So we're gonna hit start, we'll jump out, it knows you're jumping out now. And it actually takes a minute, but what it does first is it will turn on the running lights, or like the headlights essentially. Let's see, and like I said, it takes a minute, so there you go. Blinkers on, but the running lights are also on, so the headlights are on. And the next blinker here, then it will do the brake lights. There you go. So that's a full system check right there. That's all you need. You have your running lights on, blinkers, and brakes. And again, you can walk down the side of the trailer. Now the running lights are on. You can see that on the sides of the trailer. Pretty cool system. And then once you get back in, it automatically, well, actually it doesn't, so it's still gonna do it, I believe. Yeah, it's in progress. As soon as I hit the brake, now it's gone. And you can't do it when you're pushing the brake. It goes away when your flashers are on. That trailer light check goes away as well, because you're not able to obviously test it if it's trying to do the light check and you're doing that manually. Anyway, there's our fuel mileage, fuel economy. It's showing the tank average, but that's also about what we got in the towing. So it was, 12.7 miles per gallon for the towing. I think we were actually like 1 mile per gallon worse than that, if I did that right with my math. So anyway, 12.6 for the towing. Not bad. I think that's actually better than we've had with most other vehicles in the recent tests. So that's not bad at all. This test is lower speed, so you're gonna typically get a little better fuel mileage, but even still, that's pretty good. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures towing review of this 2024 Tundra TRD Pro. This thing is such a beast. I love the hybrid system in these. I had the Sequoia TRD Pro I took over the same route. Just a tow monster. They just, all that torque, 583 foot-pounds of torque. It's on demand. It's there whenever you need it. 184 foot-pounds from the electric motor. So basically you can get that at any time. And then if you need more, you can obviously run the boost on the twin turbo V6 and just boost that thing, and it's got torque to the world's end. It just pulls hard. So I love the torque on it. You don't really notice the trailer. It feels a lot like a diesel. It just pulls and pulls. Those Fox shocks are excellent for not getting hot, which might help with towing as well, but it's a little bit soft for damping for towing. As you can see, the whole suspension setup, this thing's squatting down quite a bit under this 500-pound tongue weight. And one thing I haven't checked yet, in this video at least, this trailer, or this truck, can hold 1,345 pounds of payload, minus 9 pounds or something there, so 1,336 pounds of payload. And it can tow 10,000 pounds, 11,000 pounds. So that's 1,100 pounds. That leaves you just enough weight for the driver, essentially. 1,100 pounds of tongue weight, and then a driver. So if you're maxing it out, you don't really have much in the room in the way of payload. But for a trailer this size, I mean, that's only a 5,000 pound trailer. Has no problem towing this thing. Love it. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos. Give me a thumbs up and comment down below. If you didn't like it, hit subscribe, give me a thumbs down, comment down below. Let me know what you want to see. And the next video, I'll try and accommodate those. Obviously, if it makes sense, I will. If it doesn't, then I won't. But I'd love to provide you guys with the information that you want. And I do tend to respond to most comments. So if you have a question about something about the truck, about how it towed, about, you know, anything in this test, let me know. And I usually reach out and respond with that. So thanks again. Have a great day.